How has motherhood, like, what did you guys expect, if you did expect anything at all, motherhood to change your outlook on volleyball? Because I think Delaney's expectation was that she'd kind of like pop right back to playing, but she just couldn't have any less interest, which she loved playing fours with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely loved it.
We talked about it a little bit,
Yeah.
about like, hey, do you miss it? She's like, no, not at all.
Yeah. So she doesn't miss the practices, doesn't miss competing, any of that. And that's a shock to her. Like, she didn't expect not to.
It's a shock to me. Like, I feel like she was so into volley.
Yeah.
And she was one of those players that had such a high volleyball IQ.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just thought she was able to be so creative out there and had so much fun. And so I was really surprised when she said she had no interest. But yeah, I think after now having a kid, it's a lot less important, definitely. But I enjoy being out there training every day. Like, I think that's really fun. But definitely, like, winning tournaments and stuff is not like the highest priority. What was your exact question?
How did the expectation, like, of what you expected volleyball to look like after volleyball or after becoming a mom, like, how is that the same or different now that you're back in it?
I feel like it's weird. Like, when I'm on the court, I feel very similar to how I felt in the past, but then I know that our preparation wasn't the same. I know that our expectations are not the same. So, like, there is a little bit of a broader perspective, just like before and after the matches, I guess. In the moment, I'm like, we can win this. We can beat this team. We're better than, but then I'm like, wait, we're actually not in that good of shape right now. And like, there's things that we haven't, like, there's a level we haven't reached that we need to reach to beat those teams. So, like I was telling myself before the tournament, I was like, I really just want to make it to Saturday. I don't want to embarrass ourselves. And then when we lost on Saturday, I was like, damn it, I really wanted to make it.
Before our last match, she's like, I really want to make Sunday. I'm like, but you said you wanted to make Saturday.
I'm like, well, I'll just think about it. Like,
and I didn't know what to expect, honestly. Like, I was physically so out of shape. I was like, I just hope that I can get in good enough shape to actually compete with these teams at this point. And I felt like I barely made it and did okay in Huntington. Like,
that's exactly how I felt when I played in World Champs.
Okay.
Like, I felt like I barely got in, like, passable shape. And I still wasn't at my best, but I was, like, good enough. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Not, it, like, I know it's hard because I know I could play so much better than I played, or, like, used to play so much better than I played. But at the same time, I have to, like, be very accepting of and happy that I was able to play as well as I did. So it's like a fine line,
I was also telling Travis how different, like, but more specifically your preparation was for the matches, like, compared to how you used to prepare. Like, when you told me that you eat McDonald's before breakfast back for our first match, I was like, oh boy.
So
like,
many
this day is gonna go so interesting.
So many people have commented about that. I'm like, is it really that shocking? But yeah, and then in between matches, like, we're like doing stuff with our kids and trying to,
like, so late to warm-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Normally, no scouting reports.
I know.
I told you too. I was like, next tournament we need to scout.
Yeah. Yeah, normally we'd go back to the room and watch our video and take a half-hour power nap or whatever, and it was just like, go, get food, like change the baby, make sure someone's watching him and they know how to get back to the court and blah. Yeah, so it was a lot.
Well, and there was one point in between matches, and you were talking to Josh's mom, and she was going to take Ross out for a walk, and you're like, but if he's fussy, like, bring him back. Like, don't worry about bothering us. It's not that important. And I was just like, okay, like, I could, it's just like an example of, like, priorities, and you wanted to make sure he was okay more than, like, you're worried about recovering.
Before, I would I'll just, like, we don't do anything. Let's run back to the room.
Yeah.
So we can like
She's
shower.
always like, Alex, come on.
Yeah.
Cover.
Yeah. We need to go take a nap so we're good for the next match. And no, yeah, it's just way different. And I think fly.
Just feel on one
I want to smash it on you. Sorry.
I will say that's one thing. Like coming back, I wanted to, you know, have fun. I want to enjoy it. I want it to be like beach volleyball of old, where you're like hanging out and you're chatting. And I realized at Huntington, that's an unrealistic expectation because I have a child and a family, and like we got done on Saturday, and normally I'd go out for a drink with like my friends, and it was like, no, Ross has to get home for a nap. He's so tired. He's dirty. I have to give him a bath, and then in between matches, it's like super hectic, and I'm like, oh, I don't like. It's still way different than it was when I started, and it was just so carefree and fun, and I don't want to say it like it made it feel a little bit more like work than I was hoping for.
Gotcha.
You know, like I wanted to come back, and it was definitely enjoyable, and I was stoked to be out there, and thought we could have done better, but we played okay, and I'm just satisfied. But that, I think that was maybe the biggest difference in my expectation coming back.
Yeah, it's so challenging. I mean, especially when you're looking at a 20-year career, like you've really built up routines, right? Like no matter how much you prepare and be like, oh, I'm just going to go out there and have fun with it or whatever. It's like, but I know what it takes. So why wouldn't I not do that? Or like, you know, all those routines. And
my nervous system is so connected. Like even if I'm telling myself, okay, we're just going to go have fun and do the best we can, it's so programmed in me that like, you know, we want to do well, and I had so much adrenaline, and like the night before I couldn't turn off my brain and like didn't sleep very well, and it's like, but I don't care half as much as I used to. Like why can't I just let that go? And I just couldn't. I don't know.
You don't have, like, we don't have muscle memory of like half-assing it.
Right. Yeah.
Like
I think that's the best way.
That program, like we just go out there and play easy.
That's
like,
my point.
We literally have only ever tried our hardest, played our hardest, prepared our hardest, like, and so it's like it's impossible to approach it a different way. Like we just literally don't know how. Like I have one way of knowing how to play volleyball.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself comparing your play now to the gold medal versions of yourselves, or is that just like a totally different chapter?
I do, and I have for a while, and like I feel like subconsciously maybe that's where I'm pushing myself to get back to, even though it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
But then another part of me is like, I've played so many like older women who are just so crafty and like have all the shots and like know, you know, where to put the ball. I'm like, I could learn how to do that too, and evolve my game to be a little bit more creative maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is like, is it in your mind, can you make it still realistic to have those same expectations, but to do less than you did before to reach those goals? You know what I mean? You're like, I can't give what I used to give. That's just off the table. Not speaking for you guys, but can I still expect to win the way I used to?
Can you work smarter and not necessarily as hard?
I'm more of a veteran now. I know the game better, or maybe I'll change. I don't know. Because it's hard to walk into anything and be like, well, why wouldn't I just expect to win it all?
There's certain type of players that don't have to try so hard to play really well.
Right.
Like Teddy, my fiance, for example, like he's that type of player. Like he would sit in the freaking hot tub before a match, and he's like, "That's how I warmed up." Like,
He actually a genius.
Yes, and he's like, I don't have to do anything.
They said warm up. I literally just warmed up.
And he's always like, "Don't play the game before it's flight, like before it starts." Like he thought we warmed up for way too long. But like I'm the type of player that needs to try really hard and like needs to prepare really well and study and scout and all those things. And like, if I didn't do that and I tried to approach it his way, I would suck.
It's like me versus Taylor. Where I'm like warming up for 20 minutes and then he shows up, let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
and he just makes it look so effortless, but that's the way he plays the best, you know? So I think maybe if you're that type of player, then...
My thought is can you switch if it makes sense? You know, it's like, I don't know. Because when I do walk out there and I do the half-ass warm-up, I'm just like, it doesn't feel right.
I suck, and then I get pissed.
Yeah.
And then I don't have fun.
Or like if you get injured, then you blame it on that or something, you know, something like that. I don't know.
I'm not good if I don't try really hard.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think you're better than you give yourself credit for. I legitimately suck. Like if I'm not in my best shape and like so dialed in, like I can't play volleyball on the weekends because if I just try to like play for fun, I'm so bad, and then I get so pissed, and I'm like, this is the dumbest idea. Why did I ever do this?
I think you can give yourself more credit too. Like,
I'm not a weekend player either.
Yeah.
actually, I do. I think your mental intensity. I don't agree with like having to be in shape and like really sharp physically, but I think when you get pissed off is when like you're the best, and like when you're really like motivated to win and competitive.
It's like playing for fun does not bring the best out.
Yeah,
Right.